some criteria. And this criteria is that it should be easy to read. So what do we mean by easy to read? What do you think is the criteria that ATS follows? Can I have some of the responses in the chat box, please? What do you think is meant by easy to read? Great, the model recognizes the text properly and good action verbs are used. Correct, Hanipriya. Keywords, right? Simple, short, modular, organized. Okay, great. So you're all correct again. So when we talk about easy to read, it means that the key skills and the keywords should match with the job description. So let's take for example that in the job you're applying for, they want somebody with good facilitation skills. And you have written in your resume that you have good communication skills and you have taken multiple sessions. Now, the meaning is the same, right? If you have good communication skills and you have taken sessions, that means that you have facilitation skills. But because we did not use those keywords, it creates this problem and ATS does not read it properly. And it does not mean, so this shows that it does not mean you do not have the skills. We just did not use the right words on our resume. And if we could fix this, then our resume would pass through ATS. Next, we'll have to use standard fonts. And your resume should be in the Word document format only, not the PDF, not the PPT or the image part also. It should be particularly in the Word document format. Conventionally, to make our resume very impressive and attractive, we used to use colors, we used to use graphics or images and tables to convey our information in a much more effective manner. But now, since ATS does not understand these things, please avoid using graphics, images, or tables in your resume if you want it to pass through ATS. So let's move forward and understand how do we create a good resume. It should be very simple, but significant. So resume is all about ourselves, right? We are expressing ourselves, why we are suitable for this particular job we are applying for. So it all begins with understanding ourselves. Next, we will select a CV format and then we'll create a list. We'll make a list, we'll look into it, what sort of list we are talking about. And then since we have all this information, we will pick and arrange this information in a proper manner. Lastly, we'll optimize the CV. Now let's explore these steps in depth. Okay, how many of you know this person on your screen? Do you know who he was? May I have some responses in the chat box, please? Or maybe you can give me a thumbs up if you know him. Okay, so a lot of you do know him. So this is Socrates. He said something very simple, but very profound. He was a Greek philosopher. He said, know thyself, which means we should know ourselves, right? That is where everything begins. So often what happens, one moment. Often what happens, I mean, when I was your age, I used to think they're going to ask me about myself, right? And why do I have to prepare for an interview? I would know everything about myself and I would be able to answer the questions properly. Also, if I prepared, maybe it would seem a bit fake. And I used to have this idea that if I do not prepare and if I give them the answers in the flow, then I might appear honest and sincere, and that would create a good impression on the recruiters. But then consider this. Sometimes our minds go blank. We become nervous. We struggle finding words. So in that case, it becomes very important that we reflect about ourselves, have some points ready for such situations, and express ourselves in a very well articulated manner. So how can we do that? What are the points we can focus on? Number one, we'll begin with identifying our interests. There will be some activities that you might have enjoyed in certain projects or in certain roles and responsibilities that you have taken up. Make a list of those 3 to 5 activities that you have enjoyed doing the most during that period. Next, we'll identify our strengths, we'll identify our areas of development, but these areas of development should not be very, it should not focus as if you have a very serious weaknesses. So focus on the strength part, take few weaknesses which are not exactly weaknesses and express them. Next, we will identify role that interests you. I hope you have heard of job descriptions. Are you aware of what job descriptions are? Can I have few thumbs ups if you are? Okay, you can use the chat box and let me know if you have heard of job descriptions. And what do you think a job description is? I would encourage you to use the chat box. I would love to hear from you. Okay. So job descriptions basically holds the roles and responsibilities relating to the job that you're applying for. So it's better that you read through the job descriptions. You know, I had teachers, I had really brilliant teachers. They used to be very cool. They taught me really well. And all I ever wanted was to be like them, to step into the class and take this session or take the class. And then on September 5th, I would be given a lots of gifts, the greeting cards, and all those things. But then the more I grew, the more I learned, I understood that it's not that easy to be a teacher. It includes a lot of other roles and responsibilities. Uh, just one moment. And I have received a message saying that YouTube Live is off. Will you please look into that?
Yes, Meenakshi. So we've shared a different link in the groups. Students, if you have anybody who's trying to join in via YouTube, ask them to look into the link that we've shared right now. Thank you.
Okay. I hope that query is resolved. Now, there are job descriptions that holds all the roles and responsibilities, and it is better that we read through them to have this clarity whether or not we want that job role or not. Because on the surface, it might seem like a job that you want, but maybe the roles and responsibilities are not of your interest. So identify key responsibilities also that you like or you would like to explore, and you need to reflect why. Lastly, we'll identify about 10 organizations where these job positions that you're aspiring for are there. This will help us give a direction. So moving forward, I hope this might give you something to start with, right? These are the things that you can focus on and you can reflect and you can share during your interviews. So the next step is selecting a CV format since you're all college students or graduates. So maybe we'll share a template. Raj Gopal had shared the template with you. Please share the link in the chat box with the participants. So you can utilize the format that will be shared with you in the chat box to create a resume of your choice. Now, you can of course explore the other templates as well, but for now to make things easier, we are sharing this template with you. After we select a CV format or a resume format we want to work with, the next step is to create the list. So the list should include all the activities that you have done with the outcome. So you might have done something, but something might have come out of it, right? There will be some outcome of it. So focus on those things. Year-wise, make a list of all the important activities you have done and what came out of it. Now you should understand this is all activities before creating the resume. So we still haven't started making the resume. We are just creating the content and collecting all the information about ourselves that we will pick and arrange in our resume in the next step. Now, picking and arranging information, we will be exploring this in depth later on. So we'll move to the next slide, which is optimizing CV or optimizing your resume. Okay, how many of you can let me know in the chat box saying yes or no. How many of you have experienced this? That you lock the door when you're going out and you take a couple of steps, and then you think that maybe I should check again. Maybe I haven't locked the door, and we go and we double check. Have you experienced this? Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. Um, so we also, when we dress up, right? When we dress up for some function or anything, we always have this one last look in the mirror that is everything fine, sab theek hai ya nahi? So we tend to do that, or we ask our friends or family about how do we look, is everything fine? So despite being so careful, despite paying so much of attention to these things, we still double check, correct? So similarly with the resume, so this shows that no matter how much of precautions we take, sometimes we overlook certain things. So optimizing part is very important step in which you will be correcting all the typos if there are any. Make sure to cut all the template lines. You should do the detailed formatting. By detailed formatting, we mean alignment, font size, and other things of the same nature. You should be tailoring your skills and experiences as per the job requirements. So here you need to understand this, that every time you apply for a new job, make sure you create a new resume according to that particular job position. We create one resume and we start sending it across to every job position that we come across. But maybe let's say that you're applying for computer science related some job, and you have included that you have good communication skills. Now, for computer science related job, maybe for that job, communication skills are not that important. And still, you have mentioned that in your resume. So, this will take up time and space of your own resume, and maybe the hiring manager will not be focusing on some other skill that would be even more important, because communication skill is also taking up the space, right? So, make sure you update your resume or CV every time you send it across to any organization. Lastly, seek fresh perspectives from your mentors, your family, your friends. Sometimes we do not see certain improvements that are possible. So, getting fresh perspectives always gives us scope to improvise as much as we can. So let's have a look at how does this typical resume look like, right? So these are the elements. There's heading, there is summary, there is experience, education, skills, and certifications and awards. We'll explore each element in depth. So the headline part, it holds your contact details. These days, a lot of people, they request for their LinkedIn URL as well. So you can attach your LinkedIn URL as well in this particular section. So make sure that your name is there, your contact number is there, and your email ID is mentioned. These three things must be there. Apart from that, whatever the organization requests you to share, you can add that as well. Next comes summary. So when we share our summary, right, we need to focus on sharing what we have to offer to the organization. But I have come across students, and I have made this mistake myself, that I have shared saying I am suitable for this job. Also, I would love an opportunity to learn and to grow and to work with them. Now, the concern is, why would any organization invest in my learning and growth when there are already skilled people in the market? So rather than focusing or rather than requesting them to offer me a job, it would be better if I offered them or if I showcased why I am suitable for that particular job. So let's see what are the things that you should focus on when writing your summary. Number one, who you are. So in this example, Jane Smith is a recent computer graduate. And then you will write career goals. So what does Jane Smith want to do? She wants to use her backend development experience in an entry-level position. Now then comes, what are the skills that will be valuable to the organization? What does Jane Smith has to offer? Which is more than 1 year of hands-on experience building and testing applications for Android, iOS, and Windows. I hope so far things are clear. Next, we come to the experience part. In experience part, again, make sure you're only adding the experiences relevant to the job opportunity and nothing else. First of all, you'll write about your most recent work-related experience, the date range, the period of time for which you have held that position. Next, you will write your accomplishments. So in accomplishments, this is the formula that you can apply. Mention what you did. What was the activity that you did? Plus, what was the result of it? What was the outcome of it? So we can look at an example over here. Like for example, in Jane Smith's experience, there is fixed bugs in existing apps contributing to an overall 20% reduction in customer complaints. So you can see that Jane Smith did something and that led to an outcome, which is overall 20% reduction in the customer complaints. So this showcases that this person can have an impact if they work for us. Here you will see that the experiences should be in the format where you start with the present or the recent job and you move backwards to your past job positions. Similarly, for education, that would be same. You will write about your present education and then we will move backwards. In education, include where you did your education, what was the degree that you did, and when was this? And you can mention the major or minor subjects that you have taken up. Here as well, it's optional, but it would be great because right now, a lot of you might not have any job experience. So here you can showcase some of the activities that you have done and some good outcome that has come out of it. One thing that you need to remember is that do not list your GPA if it is B, if it's B or less, right? I mean, if it's B or better, you can showcase it, but if it's not, please don't, because that would lead to discussions in the interview that can be avoided if you just skip that part. Next, we come down to the skills. So when you list down your skills, make sure that first we start with the relevant skills. And relevant skills are the skills which align with the job requirements. The sequence, again, most important skills required for the job will come first, and then the sequence will go on accordingly. It should be very concise, brief, and specific. So we need not explain that I have great communication skills. I can write, I can speak, I can listen well. Instead, we can just write, I have communication skills. Not even that, just communication skills, right? So it should be concise, brief, and specific. Avoid using or mentioning things which are personal, religious, or political in nature, unless the organization is of that nature. So it's better to avoid these things. Do not mention anything personal, religious, or political in nature. So if I'm interested in gardening and I do have great gardening skills, it's not necessary that I mention it in my resume. Or if I'm very physically fitness freak sort of a person, I don't need to mention those skills in the resume. I hope the things are clear so far. Lastly, we come to certificates and awards. So list down the certificates which are relevant to the job opportunity again. So if it's a computer science related thing, we need not attach a certificate relating to a volunteering activity for a charity or a volunteering activity for some other thing. So these certificates should be according to the job opportunity. The format should be as per the agency that has granted it. So one thing I would like to mention over here is if you're utilizing IBM SkillsBuild platform, when you do credential courses, you can utilize those certificates to be attached in your resume because IBM is a recognized agency, those things will be considered. So one last look, I hope it's again, you can have an idea about it. These are the things, important elements that you need to work upon. Heading, summary, experience, education, skills, and certificates or awards. Okay, we'll pause a bit over here. Let me know if there are any doubts or we can move forward to the next section of this session. Are there any doubts? Okay, since we seem to have time, if you have anything to share, anything to ask, please raise your hand. And I request my team members to give them the unmute access so that they can speak up. Okay, I have given the unmute access to the participants. If you have any doubts or anything to share, you can unmute yourself and you can share.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, it's me, Nandini. So I have one doubt. May I ask?
Yeah, sure, go on.
Ma'am, should we mention our language that we speak or language that we know in resume? Is it necessary?
So some of the jobs, they require you to mention what are the languages that you speak. Like for example, for my job position, it's important that I know Hindi because of the geographical area where I'm based in. It's important I know Hindi, English, right? So if those are the kinds of job, they mention it in the job description itself that the candidate should be able to speak these languages. In that case, you can mention the language, definitely.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, is there any other doubt? Give me a thumbs up if we can.
Yes,
Yes, please. Yes.
मैम वेरी गुड इवनिंग।
Good evening.
दरअसल मैं जानना ये चाह रहा था कि स्किल्स हम सीवी में जब डालते हैं तो मैक्सिमम कितना स्किल्स हमको डालना चाहिए। समटाइम होता है कि रिलेवेंट बहुत सारे स्किल्स होते हैं तो
ओके देखो, स्किल्स काफी सारे होते हैं हमारे पास, पर जॉब रिलेटेड जो आप जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन जब पढ़ोगे ना, तो उनमें वो स्पेसिफाई करेंगे कि उनको कौन कौन से स्किल्स के लोग चाहिए। तो यहाँ पे हमें अपने सारे स्किल्स नहीं बताने, हमें ये बताना है कि हम उस जॉब के लिए क्यों सूटेबल है। तो उस चीज के लिए जो स्किल्स आपके पास हैं, आप वो स्किल्स मेंशन करेंगे। नहीं तो काफी सारे स्किल्स आ जाएंगे तो वो शायद उनका ध्यान जाएगा ही नहीं, जो आपने इंपॉर्टेंट स्किल मेंशन किया है उस पे शायद ना जाए। क्लियर?
ओके मैम, थैंक यू।
You're welcome. Okay, give me a thumbs up if we can move to the next section. And I'm sorry, I'll be taking the uh, unmute access away from you for now. Let's interact later on again after this upcoming section. Great, I'll share my screen again. So now that we have understood about resume and how do we create an effective one, we'll focus on how do we leverage LinkedIn for professional networking. So let me ask you, is there somebody who's speaking? Okay, so let me ask you, how many of you have a LinkedIn profile? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if you have a LinkedIn profile. Okay, a lot of you do have LinkedIn profile. Can I have a few responses in the chat box from people who do not have LinkedIn profile? Okay, some of you do not have LinkedIn profile. So in this particular section, we will understand why it is important to have a LinkedIn profile in today's time. I'll ask you a question. How many people do you think get recruited? And you can randomly guess. It's not important that you give me the right answer itself. So how many people do you think get recruited every minute through LinkedIn? 3 to 4, okay. 10 people, okay. 50 to 78, great. So it's usually between 6 to 10 people who get recruited every minute. Every day, it's around 8,640. Per minute, yes, per minute, about 6 to 8 or 10 people get recruited via LinkedIn. On average, around 8,640 people get recruited every day, and more than 250,000 people get recruited via LinkedIn in one particular month. So there is another interesting fact about LinkedIn. So imagine that there are 100 hiring managers in your city or in the place where you live. So out of this 100 hiring managers, as per the LinkedIn data, 72 of them will use LinkedIn to recruit or hire the talent. And 67% of the 72, they say that the professionals they have hired from LinkedIn are of good quality. So coupling these two facts together, we understand how important LinkedIn is and our opportunities or our chances of getting a job or getting selected increases tremendously just by creating an account on LinkedIn. Now, for those who haven't created a LinkedIn account, okay, I'll ask you another question. How many of you have Instagram profiles? Give me a thumbs up if you do. I have it too. Okay, a lot of you have Instagram profile. It was quite easy to create Instagram profile, right? You could just use your Gmail ID and create the Instagram account. Similarly, LinkedIn is also as easy as that. You can just use your Gmail ID and create the LinkedIn account. Instagram is for personal uses and LinkedIn is for professional users and professional networking. So once you create the account, Instagram पे भी हमने photo डाला होगा. Similarly, I mean, we would have updated photo in the Instagram. Similarly, here we have to update our photo and a cover photo which would reflect your job position. Use a, okay, not job position particularly because I made it relatable to myself. So what you can do is you can add a profile picture and cover photo that reflects who you are. Use an HD image. Be the only person in the photo. It shouldn't be a group photo. It's a professional networking platform. It should be just you in the frame. And make sure about 60% of the photo is covered with your face. After we update our profile photo, we'll work on a captivating headline. Everything has a captivating headline, right? Like in one sentence, if you have to describe. So you can add a one-liner as a captivating headline, which reflects about you. We'll focus on summary then. Summary can also be considered as about section. So in the about section, we'll explore what are the things that we'll have to cover. Then you will update your skills. There are certain do's and don'ts of the summary section. Make your summary very clear and a concise snapshot of who you are as a professional. Highlight your unique value proposition. There would be something that makes you unique when compared to others. Make sure you highlight that. Repeat the keywords from your headline, work experience, and skills, and quantify the statements. So, what do we mean by quantifying statements? Let's say if I have to describe myself, let's say I'll say that Meenakshi has facilitated a lot of sessions. Okay, one moment. There are things popping up here. Let me just take it away. Okay. So let's say I have to share about myself and I'll say I have facilitated a lot of sessions. I have taken training sessions for a lot of teachers across many schools. But then if I have to quantify it, if I expressed it as I'm Meenakshi and I have facilitated multiple sessions for more than 500 primary school teachers across 25 schools in Madhya Pradesh. So that would make much more sense, right? That would reflect what my experience actually has been. Next thing that you need to understand about summary section is that avoid using overused buzzword. Let me ask you, and you can use the meeting chat to let me know your thoughts. If I told you that I'm a very hardworking person, very, very hardworking person, would you believe me? Let me know in the chat box, or maybe you can give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Okay, some of you are saying yes, and most of you are saying no. I guess you're all calling me a liar, but you're correct when you do that. Whenever people use this overused buzzwords, it's hard to believe because everybody says it, right? Everybody says I'm hardworking, I'm highly motivated, I'm a team player. So these words do not really create an impact. So it's better to just avoid using these words. Avoid writing in third person. What do we mean by that? If I say Meenakshi Kumari is a senior engagement associate at CSR Box, this is third person. But if I have to say, I am Meenakshi Kumari and I am Senior Engagement Associate at CSR Box, this has a bit of a personal touch to it. It becomes much more interactive and it attracts attention as well. So that is how you can write your summary. Avoid any sort of negative comment and don't forget to update it. We acquire new skills every day, every month. Make sure that you update on your LinkedIn profile. So how do we leverage LinkedIn for career advancement? There should be some strategies, right? So these are the 4 strategies that we will be exploring: connection, skills, visibility, and job search. First is by developing connections. And how do we do that? You can see that there is a strategic search part. I hope that the screen is visible for you and the screenshot is visible as well. So once we search for a job position, let's say I want to find out talent acquisition specialist or an HR, and I add a filter of my own city or wherever I'm placed in. Let's say I'm from Delhi. So I have added the filter of Delhi. Now it will give me the list of people who are in Delhi with that particular job position. And I can follow them, I can interact with them, and if the opportunity arises, I can meet them and I can learn so much from them, right? To increase my capabilities so that I can get the job opportunity I'm searching for. Next, we can follow the organizations. Remember that we created a list of 10 organizations where we want to apply. So you can follow these organizations so that you can have an idea what sort of job openings are there so that you can apply for it. You can familiarize yourself with these job positions and requirements and work accordingly. That is copycat strategy. Use the chat box to let me know what copycat strategy might mean. What do you think copycat strategy is? Is it just copy pasting somebody's profile? Yes or no? So if I went through, since Anne Kurian is here, so if I went through her profile and I just add everything from there, I'll copy everything from there and I'll add it to my profile. Is that copycat strategy? Okay, some of you are saying yes, and Suhani says taking examples from someone's profile. Correct. So what we do is, maybe if I want Anne's position, I'll go through her profile. I'll see what are the skills that she has that I need to have to get that particular job position. How can I have a profile like hers so that I can get the job that I'm aiming for? That is copycat strategy. We do not copy paste the entire profile. Don't do that because in the interview, we might get caught. So that needs to be avoided. Make sure you learn from their profile and you try to develop your profile accordingly. We all have YouTube influencers, Instagram, TikTok influencers on the rise, right? There are also influencers when it comes to LinkedIn. We had mentioned about application tracker system initially. A lot of us did not know about it. But then LinkedIn started discussing these things long back. So if we have a LinkedIn profile and we follow these influencers, we will be updated with all these new latest tips, latest tricks, and all the things that we can do to crack the interview or to create a good resume. So you can be always few steps ahead if you can follow these influencers in the job market. We'll move on to the visibility part. So visibility part is relating to how much visible are we in that particular platform. How many people follow us? How many people are we engaging with? How many people are paying attention to us? Now, if you do not speak up, of course, your profile will not become popular, right? It's the same with Instagram or with any other platforms. You post something, people engage with it, and the algorithm does the rest of the things, and you start getting more and more attention. And if you get the attention, only then would you be able to take up the opportunity. So to increase your visibility, you can follow the following strategies. Number 1 is sending personalized invite. You can look at the example over here about how do we send a personalized invite. Let's say you want to connect with somebody. You can tell them that, okay, hi, this is so-and-so, and I noticed that you are an HR in this sector, and I wanted to discuss this opportunity of potentially working together. And when you directly connect with them, they usually respond back, and that establishes a connection, and that also creates this, it increases your chance of getting a job. Next is sharing and creating content. You can make regular posts, valuable content, use very rich media. Again, it's all about algorithm and Since a lot of you have Instagram profile, I think you understand how this works. But the only difference is make sure you're posting something professional. So let's say let me know if I can post this. If I've taken an evening walk, and I ate biryani this weekend, do you think I should be posting this on LinkedIn? No? Okay, correct. So since LinkedIn is a professional networking platform, these things are not to be updated. Now, do you think that this session, can you share a screenshot of this session perhaps on your LinkedIn profile? Can this be shared? Yes, it can be, because this is a learning process, right? You're gaining something, you're learning something, you're gaining certain skills. So this can definitely be shared on LinkedIn to showcase that you have learned something, that you have equipped some skills into yourself. Boosting engagement. You need to engage with your network, encourage interaction, respond to comments. How many of you can raise your hands or give me a thumbs up. How many of you have done this? That you follow somebody and they do not follow you back. So sometime later, you unfollow them. Okay, so you have done that. I have done that too long back, but good to see I'm not alone in this again. So we do that, right? Because we did not get the proper response from them. How many of you have asked your friends to like your post or your photos? I think a lot of us have done that. And we also fight if they do not comment on our post, right? So this is just human nature. The more you engage with them, the more they will engage with you. What we feel is also what they feel. So if somebody follows you, maybe follow them back. If somebody is commenting on your post, comment back. Respond to people, engage with them actively so that your profile will also be seen across to a lot of people. Next, we'll focus on how do we search for a job. So the interesting part about LinkedIn is, I don't know if this is visible, but we have searched here for software developer entry level. Now, this is not a particularly job position, right? We do not know. We just know that we have a skill. We have a skill of software developer, and we want an entry level position. So when I add this and search, these are the jobs that came up. Python developer, front-end engineer, Python developer training. So you will see that maybe we just don't know the job position for which we will be suitable. शायद हमें पता नहीं है कि ऐसा कोई job position है जिसके लिए हम suitable हैं. तो जब when we search using these words, keywords, a lot of job position will appear and you will know that you can apply over there. For example, I did not know, to be honest, that there is some position called Senior Engagement Associate. Now I'm in this position, but I had no idea before. I had all the skills and I got selected for this position. So maybe it's not that I do not have the skills or we do not have the skills. Maybe we just don't know that there is a job position and where that job position is, where we can apply. So you can use LinkedIn for this purpose as well. Next, there is asking for referral. How many of you have felt bad in your school days, maybe, for the opportunities that teachers' children or principals' children got, and you didn't? Have you experienced that? I see that some of you have experienced it, and it feels bad, doesn't it? It feels unfair. But here's the thing. So if I come to your city and if I ask you which would be a great place for me to visit, you will be the expert and you will be able to guide me, right? It will save me time. It will save me resources if I try to explore on my own. Similarly, when we ask for referrals or this feature is utilized, we usually have very little time to hire or very little resources to keep things fair. So what we do is we go through somebody else who is already there. You can utilize this feature on LinkedIn that you can send it to some person from the organization. Let's say you want to join us in the CSR box. So maybe you can just write to me or Anne or my other team members saying that I saw there is a job opening. Would you be willing to share my resume with your HR so that I can apply for this, so that this can go further. And since we are already employees over here, uh, our referrals will be taken seriously and you will be given the priority. The interview process, everything will be in place, but still you can skip a lot of time period and you can just get ahead with the HR, right? So please utilize, create a LinkedIn account first of all, and you can utilize this feature as well. Lastly, we will update our skills. So previously, I was a Gandhi Fellow, and under Gandhi Fellow, in the fellowship program, I had gained storytelling skills, I had gained team leadership, case studies, and there is something called endorsing part as well in this, which adds more weightage. So you can add all the skills that you have gained in your particular experiences. This is the most interesting feature, let's say, about LinkedIn, which is automatic shortlisting software. For example, you're applying for a job, and that job requires that the candidate has 10 skills. Okay. And now you have about 5 skills updated in your profile, or maybe you have 15 skills updated in your profile. And then when you match, maybe just 5 skills are matching. So you will know that there are 5 more skills that I need to develop so that I can apply for this job position. Or maybe you will see that, okay, I haven't added the skill to my skills list. So maybe I'll just add it so that the matching part goes on really well. You will see that we have marked it in the red box that when somebody has applied for this particular job, 2 skills are matching the profile and there are other skills. There are 8 skills which are missing on the profile. So if I get the 8 skills, then I would be capable of applying for this job. So just quick recap. There are 4 strategies that we have explored. We'll start with connecting with people. We'll try to increase our visibility, be seen, post things, let people interact with you, and you should be interacting with them as well. We will do strategic job search. Also, we'll be adding relevant skills that will get us the job. I think we'll share this link with you in case you want to learn how to make a good resume. There is this elaborate course on the SkillsBuild platform. So I request my team members to share the link, or perhaps I can do it if you can give me a minute. Also, I'm giving you all the unmute access. If there are doubts, you can go ahead and ask me. I hope you have unmuted.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
How many referrals can we use for a post? Like if I'm applying for SD role, how many referrals can I use for
How
a
many?
single post?
Okay, so you're talking about how we provide referral details so that they can contact and do a background check. Is that the part you are asking about?
No, like I asked 2 persons and they have given the referrals to me. So can I use both the referrals or they will accept only 1 person referral?
Okay. So you are the one who is the medium and you are sharing this with your HR or the person. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, I'll put in this way. I'm a student and I want, like, let's take IBM itself. And I asked 2 persons for referral and they gave me. So can I use both of their referrals for this job post?
Yeah, sure. If one doesn't work out, there will be the other one, right?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, is there any other person who would like to share their thoughts or has any doubt? Or if you need any clarity?
Hello, ma'am. Good evening. Myself, Anubhuti. So, ma'am, I'm in my final year, and right now I'm seeking for jobs, but I don't know what because I have don't have much certification or much achievement in the university or college. So, what else I can include for my in my resume?
Okay, so you're saying you do not have a lot of experiences in the college and you want to add some experiences, right? Let's consider, have you done any projects?
Yes, ma'am, I have 2 or 3 projects.
Great. So have you done internship or any other activities like that?
Ma'am, I have done online internship once.
Okay, great. That is also good. Apart from that, have you worked on a team project?
Yes, ma'am, I have one.
So you have all these experiences. You can showcase that you have teamwork skills. You have worked on the project, so you know time management. You have submitted the deliverables on time. You can explain about what that project was about a bit, and you can share that you have done the internship also during your academic year. So these are all experiences. The experiences don't have to be anything very concrete. You're learning skills in various activities. If you have volunteered, that will also be considered. The thing is, how do you express it? Right? And for that, I would suggest that you have done job application essentials courses on the platform. It elaborates it very beautifully how you can do it. So articulation is the key to it. We all have experiences. We just sometimes do not express it properly. I hope that clarifies things, that you do have experience is what I mean to say.
Yes, ma'am, I understood.
Thank you.
Good evening, ma'am. Myself Nandini again.
Good evening, Nandini.
Ma'am, should we need to pay any money in order to log in into LinkedIn account?
No, it's completely free of cost.
Because when I log in, when I viewed the learning plan, I saw that we have to pay money and all. That's why I asked.
Well, I would ask you to connect with me later on again. We are in the WhatsApp groups. You can connect with me regarding it. We'll try to resolve it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Any other doubts? How many skills to be added in resume? So I had mentioned this before. I'll mention this again. When you add anything on your resume, it should be as per the job requirements. Let's say the job requirements is asking for about 5 to 6 skills. Then if you have those skills, mention those skills in the resume. We don't need to showcase all the skills that we have. हमारे पास काफी सारे skills होंगे ना, बहुत कुछ हमने सीखा है इतने टाइम में. तो we cannot showcase all of it. So what we have to do is we have to strategically choose कि अच्छा ये जॉब पोजीशन के लिए कौन से स्किल्स चाहिए और मेरे पास कौन से हैं और मैं वो डालूंगी. आई होप दैट्स क्लियर. Core coursework section in resume stating the subjects we have covered in college or university. You don't have to share all the subjects. If it can be in a concise form, you can do it. Again, pay attention to this part, that there is only 30 seconds, right? Within 30 seconds, the hiring manager is deciding whether or not this candidate is suitable. So in that case, you have to put things on your resume that will attract their attention and avoid everything else that might not attract their attention. What to do if the interviewer asks that tell us about yourself? That is not mentioned in resume. Okay, for that, again, you will have to reflect through your experiences. You might have had, I don't think interviewer asks such vague questions. You can ask them to specify it a bit, make it a bit particular. तो इंटरव्यूअर हमसे जो भी पूछ रहे हैं जवाब तो उसका देना ही है, पर ऐसा तो नहीं है कि हम उनसे क्लैरिटी नहीं मांग सकते. दैट्स अ वेरी वेग क्वेश्चन कि आप अपने बारे में कुछ बताओ या like tell me about yourself. That's not on the resume. If you can come up with certain examples or experiences, of course you can share that. But if not, just go on and ask for the clarity that what particular area do you want to, what exactly would you like to hear from me or about me? Maximum page limit of resume, 1 page is better. 1 page is better, and you can use templates in Canva or AI generated ones, but again, for the ATS part, make sure it's in the Word document format only. Is 2 page resume a bad thing? It's not particularly bad thing. It's just, it's better to keep it as concise as possible. But if you have a lot of relevant things to share, it's all right. It's all right.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
मैम असाइनमेंट किसमें मैम सबमिट करने थे?
ओके अच्छा, तो असाइनमेंट का हम लोग लिंक शेयर करेंगे अभी थोड़ी देर में। ये
जी।
सेशन अभी कुछ टाइम में हम क्लोज करेंगे एंड देन हम लोग आपको शेयर करेंगे एक लिंक। आपको अपने असाइनमेंट्स उसमें डालना है। और आज
ओके।
का असाइनमेंट, लेट मी टेल यू अबाउट द असाइनमेंट फॉर द डे। You will have to create a resume. We have shared the template also, right? I'll ask Raj Gopal to please share the template again for participants' references. You can use that template, create a resume, and upload it. Also, create a LinkedIn account. I would strongly encourage every one of you to create a LinkedIn account. It's a very great platform. You will have more opportunities. And also share that link in the form itself. The form will be shared थोड़ी देर में, सेशन के बाद कुछ देर में we'll share the form link.
ओके मैम।
Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am. So there is a very frequent question asked every time in the interview that where do you see yourself after 5 years? So what should be the best answer of this question?
Well, it depends on the job role you're aspiring for, right? For all the different job roles, it would be different. And we all have different answers. See, जब हमने ये सेशन की शुरुआत की थी, तो हमने शुरुआत ही यहाँ से की थी, we started with knowing ourselves. So there is no clear-cut answer to that, that where do I see myself in 5 years? Maybe I see myself somewhere else and you see yourself somewhere else, right? So मैं आपको जवाब दे दूंगी तो वो आपका जवाब नहीं होगा. So I would rather refrain from answering that. But the more you understand yourself, I think you will be able to answer it well.
Okay.
Okay, so there is a question. Where do we use WCP in our resume? So there is the section called certificates and awards, right? So you can mention it under that head. Yes, please write SMART goals on make it in the Word document format. PDF would also work, but Word document format, let's go ahead with that. Okay, so let's conclude this session. I request Raj Gopal to share the attendance form in the chat box. How to make yourself career ready. So all these master classes were organized to make you career ready, and I feel confident that you are. Previous to master classes were also very insightful. So I hope that you feel at least a bit more career ready than you felt before. Participants, we have shared the attendance form in the meeting chat. Please make sure that you fill it. Give us your feedback. They are valuable to us. It also helps us improve ourselves and grow. So please go ahead and share, fill the Google form. About the assignment deliverable form, we will soon be sharing it. Please give us some time. How often we should post on LinkedIn? There are no formulas for this. If you have some experience, जैसे आज session हुआ, you can share this detail about this session today on the LinkedIn. Or maybe a week later, you get a certificate. You can share that certificate showcasing that I got this certificate on the LinkedIn. So there is no clear-cut formula. I mean, as often, maybe one post in 2 days will also work. कभी-कभी कुछ post तो viral हो जाती हैं. तो algorithm works in tricky ways. I hear somebody speak. Is somebody speaking? Okay, you will get your internship certificate. This is a winter certification program, by the way. You will get the certificate in a week or two after the entire thing is concluded. after the last day of it. The last date for assignment submission is going to be 5th Jan. All right. Apart from that, okay, somebody has created a LinkedIn account. It is Satyanarayana. Okay, so we have created a LinkedIn account recently. You can upload your last 2 years' activities. There is a way in which you can share it. So a lot of people add it as a reflection part. So let's say that I have done some activity in Chhattisgarh and I want to share it now. I haven't shared it yet. I can just write ki there was a time in Chhattisgarh when I got to experience this, and I'm grateful for that opportunity. These are the things that I learned from that experience, and I feel great to be sharing this with you all. Something like that. Explore a lot of posts on the LinkedIn. You will get new ideas about what sort of posts you can make on LinkedIn. Okay, just give me one moment. Anne, are you here?
Yes, Meenakshi, I'm here. Tell me.
Okay, so I think we can conclude this session. And I would like, before we do that, I would like to thank all the participants for joining us in the Masterclass 3. Okay, this is the last class. I have received the question that, are there going to be any more classes? No, this is your final masterclass. I hope you complete your assignments on time. Thank you for interacting so actively in the chat box and giving me thumbs up. It kept my spirits up as well. I hope you had a great New Year, and Happy New Year, belated Happy New Year from my side as well. Thank you again. Thank you so much for joining us. See you soon in some other programs, I hope. Bye-bye. I hand over to Anne to close the session, please.
That's great. Thank you so much, Meenakshi, for that wonderful session. Students, I hope you had a good time with her. I've known her sessions to be extremely interactive, and I could see that now my chat box is full. So thank you, students. Thank you so much for joining. The attendance link has been shared. A brief about your assignments have also been given. So I hope you fill in your attendance and start working on your assignments. Like she shared, the last date, the deadline that we have kept for all the assignments is January 5th. All right, Jan 5th, so that we would review them and we can start issuing your certificates. So we appreciate and we applaud timely submissions. So please make sure that you submit your assignments on time. All right. I hope you remember what the assignments are. Yes, the messages will be posted on the group. The topics will also be posted there for you all to refer. Recordings will be shared. Do give us some time to get it ready, and we will be sharing the recordings as well. So looking forward to seeing all of your assignments. Thank you for being with us throughout this entire journey, and have a blessed and great day ahead. Thank you. Thank you so much, students. We'll be closing the meeting. I hope all your queries are resolved as well. Thank you. Thank you all. You may leave the meeting. Thank you.